Either.
Welcome to the May 25, 2023 meeting of the Stockbridge Board of Selectmen. Let us stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Our first agenda item is the reorganization of the board, and I would be happy to nominate my colleague Chuck Cardillo in his 9th year serving on this board to serve as chairman for the 3rd time, I believe. Is that right? 3rd time?
Yes.
Yes. And I would look for a second.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi, for myself,
Yes.
first time.
And I say that with a sigh of relief.
Thank you, Patrick, for your year of being the chair. It's not easy for the first time. So I'm in charge, huh?
You are.
Meeting adjourned. Don't even be quick. So first we'll take action on minutes of the March 23rd, April 13th, and April 27th minutes.
Motion approved.
The second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Take action on a one-day alcohol license for Austin Riggs, Old Corner House, on June 3rd for an exhibit opening from 4 PM to 6 PM.
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I assume there's no comments or on any of these, but yeah.
Okay. Take action on one-day alcohol license for Berkshire Botanical Garden on June 17th for a wedding from 6 PM to 10 PM.
Motion approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Take action on one-day alcohol license for Boston Symphony Orchestra for the, what hall is that?
Biscuit.
It's the shed.
The shed.
Shed. That become that name, it's always a shed. And June 22nd, June 23rd for the concert from 8 PM to 11 PM. This is the first time you're serving alcohol in the shed.
This is, yes.
How do you plan on doing that?
So we have the idea is we're piloting to see if this is even something that could ever work in the future. So we wanted to try it with a non-Boston Symphony Orchestra concert. The idea is we would place a bar in the right rear of the shed. So it's not blocking any egress. It's still within the enclosed structure of the shed. Just to see if anyone is interested in purchasing, this would be beer and wine for these popular artist concerts, really just for the first half of a show. And just to test this out and see if this is something that's even desirable on our end. And that's really kind of it. We're trying it as a new just attempt.
Okay, and you have the bartenders that are
Yep, the bartenders, everyone is tip certified. We'll have trash ready to go.
Any,
Is this for raid? So you have coverage for the raid or just for ease for the guests?
This is for ease for the guests. So
Okay.
just because of the licensing structure at Tanglewood the way it is anyway, because you can't bring anything into a licensed area and you can't have anything leave a licensed area. Those who actually sit within the shed do not have the ability to make an alcohol purchase and have it in their seat during the concert. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to provide a new amenity for those who are actually seated inside, as opposed to those who might be getting something from a beer garden, staying in a beer garden, or somebody who has their own picnic on the lawn. This was kind of in the spirit of equity.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions. One, based on the location on the map, it is right on the edge and abuts the lawn. So obviously state law is such that you cannot, you can't, folks have to consume the alcohol in a dedicated section. And so because people walk back and forth behind the benches, is there some plan to limit the consumption within the shed environment?
Yes, and that was part of the reason why we were only doing this one location, because that inherently would limit the consumption within the shed itself. So the idea is we would have 2 bartenders there, obviously everything facing inward towards the shed, not outward towards the
But
lawn.
will someone be able to come from the lawn and buy a drink and then leave that area?
They will not be able to now.
So it'll be sort of like the current licensed, seasonal licenses where people have to consume it within,
Within the area, yes.
which is now defined as the shed.
Right.
Okay. And you've gotten, and legal counsel is comfortable with, because the one-day permit page on the state website says, and I'm quoting, that local licensing authorities cannot grant special licenses, not seasonal licenses, special licenses to any premise that has an alcohol beverages license. You've gotten a ruling from your council that says that this is permissible for a special permit license.
Yes.
Okay. And we're comfortable with that. Okay.
And we checked with the ABCC and they said yes.
Okay. And similarly, and so any other question answered that. So that covers my concerns.
Anything from the public on this?
Oh, I think it's a good idea.
I think that the first event, the 22nd, the June 22nd event, which is, I think, the talk.
Wait, don't tell me, that's right.
What is it?
Wait, don't tell me.
It's
Right.
like on
By the way,
it's on NPR. It's like a,
NPR show.
it's
Okay,
funny.
so it'll be it'll be a good one.
I just want to add this. Tanglewood owns 2 major parcels. One is the one the Lundy Center's on, which I'm in a butter of. The shed parcel I'm not in a butter of, which is why I'm participating tonight. The only comment I'll make is that I applaud any opportunity on the popular artist concerts to transition people away from BYOB toward purchased alcohol. I just would encourage you, as you look at the popular artist concerts, not to make alcohol consumption additive, but make it alternative, because, the popular artist concerts tend to be the ones where, consumption is higher, to be candid. So anyway, but I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Take action on a 1-day alcohol license for Norman Rockwell Museum on June 10th for a gala from 6 PM to 10 PM.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Appoint Cheryl Sturman to the Cultural Council. She's the only one that applied, or she's the one you're recommending, or?
It's the one that's been brought forward, yeah.
Okay.
Cultural Council. Okay.
I don't think we have any limit. We can always add, for that specific one, we can add whoever,
Okay. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Berkshire Theater Festival letter of support.
So the Nick Paleologos had another event he had to be at tonight. He is the, chief cook and bottle washer there. I forget what his title is. And they've got a grant application on June 2nd, and we're looking for a letter of support for the town to support the grant application. They're planning a $5 million renovation of the Playhouse to support year-round events, and also to add a museum of all their 100 years of memorabilia. He gave me a lot of names, but the one that stood out was a young Katharine Hepburn who played there, and they've got pictures and, the playbills and all the rest of it. So anyway, they just want a letter to include in their grant applications, and a copy has been provided.
I'll make a motion that we send a support letter.
And I'll second it.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good.
Second homeowner meeting discussion.
Did we do it last year?
Yeah. So
My opinion on this is,
I don't remember.
I don't want to say this, we're trying to make it a uniform, second homeowners, regular resident stuff as one group. And they have, like any other town resident, every opportunity to come on Zoom, come on other meetings, come to any meeting they want, they can Zoom anywhere. So I'm kind of leaning not having this because
at all?
the second homeowners meeting. Yeah, and then they could participate in any event that we have on Zoom. it's almost, I mean, we have it, but it's kind of segregating, but separating, putting them, making them a special group with the townspeople.
Okay.
That's just my point.
Can I?
And I have a question too.
Yeah, sure.
What is the history of this? When did it start? Why did it start? Who started?
I've been
Like,
doing them as long as I can
It's been
remember.
a while.
I don't know the history of it. I can only
That was
say.
before Zoom and stuff I could see.
okay,
but
so
they
it's a
had-
while.
But it's every opportunity they can compete and
And
come
the,
into any meeting we have.
and usually the topics are, do they set the agenda or do we?
I think it's
It's a question.
done as an open question and answer session since I've been.
Okay,
Yeah.
So last year, we had not only a second homeowner, which I think we had upwards of 50 people attend, 30, 40, 50 people attend, which has been our tradition for a while. In addition, I revived something that Steve Schatz had been doing, which is to go to actual second homeowner community, I'm not second homeowner, but individual kind of the lake oriented communities like Mackinac Heights and Shores and, and White Pines and the rest of it. And Michael and I attended most of those together. And most of the questions were more procedural for just people didn't know how the government worked. And most of them Michael answered. My feeling on this is that, often, not always, but often folks are only here on the weekend. They don't have a good sense of what processes and procedures are. And I just generally think that the more we reach out to folks, rather than requiring folks to kind of figure out how to reach out to us, is not the worst idea in the world. And I know that, at those meetings, we were able to reach an extra, 4 or 5 times as many folks as we generally do. I tend to think that they're helpful, but that's just my opinion.
I actually think that's, like, did they reach out to you, like Mackinac Heights, to come and?
We made ourselves
Or did-
available.
oh.
And it's fine with me if one of you, it's basically the second homeowner meetings are, about half of them were on Zoom and several of them were in person. And it's totally fine with me if you, I'd be happy to, or Michael, but I just feel like we're available. It's not a bad idea to have a, representative of the town show up. It could be informal, not actually representing the town, but if you're invited, you're invited. It's not, I just feel like it's a connection to the government for folks who don't have the benefit of being here 365 days a year.
I get, it seems reasonable to have a meeting for like an open question answer. But I know one of the things that came up is the second homeowners want to feel that they're included. So it feels like it makes them a different group by having a special meeting, like,
That's my
right?
point.
Yeah, so I'm sort of.
I mean, that's,
We've also had a request to have a meeting with Church Street. The folks over there want to talk about some drainage issues and have asked us to come and meet with them. We didn't get to that before the last term of the board, but it is something that we do owe them an answer on. And now that you're chair, I'll give them one. I'll just say one other thing is that the way you look at maybe somewhere between 50 and 60% of the property ownership is now with second homeowners, and that's going to keep going up. All right. It's just the economics of the town are such that could easily be in 10 or 20 years, 70% or 75%. Having folks understand and frankly feeling welcome and understanding that they're allowed to serve on a board, if it's appointed. There's a lot of, like Bruce has put his name and I see him on the call tonight. I think it's helpful for us to educate folks so that they can make the state next step and feel included and be included. Yeah.
any,
I know during, when we were discussing the Curtisville Bridge, I did reach out to a couple people and I agreed to do a Zoom and they brought whoever they wanted in. So there's a couple, we can explore a number of different ways of meeting with groups. It could be going to their there are group settings. It could be us asking them to set up a special one on a certain night. And it could be all the selectmen and we could just post it and then
Right.
have an open meeting. So there's a whole bunch of different ways, but I know the one with the Curtisville was really well attended. And I was able to just show them the PowerPoint that we had for the Curtisville and just went over it with everybody and got input back. So I think there's a number of ways if we just want to proceed with how to do outreach. And I agree with what Patrick said, like if Church Street has issues with drainage, one of us, one of you guys with me, so that if we don't want to post it, we could just do a discussion with them about what's going on to bring back to the board, or we can just set up full meetings. So there's a bunch of ways, and I think Zoom has allowed us to sort of do this much easier way, so.
And I would also point out that in every one of these communities, like White Pines, for example, is probably 10 or 20% full-time residents. It's not like it's only second home. It's just basically they have an annual meeting and, it's just a chance to do outreach.
Any input from anybody out there? Any comments?
Where's the
Patty
chat?
has
This is Bruce Auerbach calling in.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you for bringing this up. I'm in Beechwood, and I think that anything that the board can do to make all of the residents feel as if they're one, and bring and be inclusive, and keep all the residents of Stockbridge knowing what the board and what the government is doing is important. Whether or not there's a feeling that by calling it a second homeowners meeting, that it becomes not inclusive but exclusive, as opposed to having someone from the board, whether it's Michael and or one of the members of the select board, present at the annual meetings at each of the communities that are largely, although not exclusively, as Patrick mentioned, second homeowners. I think that would accomplish the same purpose and the same goal, and I think would go a long way towards making everyone that has a home in town feel that they were included in what was happening and knowledgeable about what was happening.
Yeah.
I like
'cause
that idea.
Whenever this comes up, it's, what do we call it? Because you call it second homeowners meeting, that's segregating. You call it, part-time residents, that's kind of, to me, it's all one town, one community. Everybody puts in, everybody works together. Everybody loves this town, and everybody who lives here is, to me, an equal part of this town. So if you want to try just doing groups, doing groups like that throughout the summer, meeting with the different, the smaller organizations, and maybe it'll be more of a one-on-one, easier way of doing things where it's not such a big agenda just in a couple of hours.
I think that the members of the board and Michael making it known to the presidents of each of the associations where there are largely, again, but not exclusively, second homeowners, that one of you would like to make yourselves available to the annual meeting that all the associations have, I think would go a long way towards accomplishing the goal that both Patrick has expressed, which I think is important to make sure there's inclusiveness, and also the things that that Chuck and Jamie have indicated, and Michael has indicated, that it may actually feel less inclusive by calling it a second homeowners meeting.
But
I like the idea, Bruce, of like one of us attends your annual meetings.
yeah. The only thing I would add, though, is that not every part-time, seasonal, second homeowner, residence, whatever, is in one of these communities. And that is the benefit of separately having the agenda item in the middle of the summer as is tradition, because that way, if anybody has a question, they're not, because these meetings aren't open to the public, the association meetings. And so I think that there's some benefit to seeing them as, one is an opportunity for outreach where we're literally going there, someone's literally going there. But the other one is just if you have any questions, you want to understand how the government works, that, that you're coming to the posted meeting.
Okay, Patty has a question.
Patty?
Hi, I just wanted, because Jamie asked, I thought I'd just give a tiny bit of context. I've only been here for 10 years, so I only have it that far back, but it was explained to me when I first got here that it was a tradition, and it was they were held on Saturdays. They were held on that Saturday that the library book sale is held on. They were always in person, obviously, back then. And it was kind of a way, as has been brought up, for people who aren't in Stockbridge the most, part of the year, to kind of have like a formal catch up with the town. It was one of those the way it was explained to me was one of those, Stockbridge, we're this like community welcoming thing. And it was like a way to say to the part-time residents, you're not here all the rest of the year, but let us have this nice catch up on a Saturday in the summer. And it was always on a Saturday. And then it got moved to the regular time period where the select board meets. A couple of years ago, our group was contacted by Roxanne to ask us if we had a preference since it was moving to the regular time period. The select board met, and that was when you were meeting in the mornings, and we requested to have it in the evenings. And it moved from being like kind of a specific meeting to like the quote unquote second homeowner meeting to just being an agenda item on the select board's Thursday meeting one night in like June or July or something. So that was kind of the genesis of how it moved. And to also further answer your question, Jamie, as to whether there was an agenda or whether it was purely Q&A, it actually depended on who was the chair of the select board at the time, because I've attended meetings where there were different approaches. Like Don Shaban had an agenda, other select board chairs didn't. And it depended on whether there was like a hot topic, like there was the summer of the bear. So the great summer of the bear.
And there was also the Sunday hours for the transfer station, which was another hot topic.
All right, but we added those. So.
Right, I know that.
Yeah.
I think that, in light of Patrick's comment about the number of people that are second homeowners that are not part of any of the existing associations, I think that having, one of the select board meetings, an evening select board meeting sometime in June or July, or even August, where, word gets out and it's well known that this is a meeting where anyone, that, wants to learn more about what's going on in Stockbridge, it doesn't feel included, should basically attend, and a portion of the meeting is basically earmarked towards having those discussions that might have otherwise taken place at the previously held second homeowners meeting. I mean, I've been here for 30 plus years, so I've been to many of them, and in the beginning I found them very valuable. That was at a time when everything was in person, and now that we can all be on Zoom, or many people can be on Zoom, and it can be much more inclusive, I think that that's certainly a way to address the fact that many of the second homeowners won't be here Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, and therefore doing it on a Saturday would be beneficial. But if we can do it, if it can be done by Zoom, I think it could address that issue.
Okay.
I would strongly support a Saturday, going back to the Saturday meeting, and even just doing it as an in-person meeting at the beach or something. I think it would be great to get back to when people are in town, for like one Saturday morning, hour and a half kind of thing.
I would caution you guys about doing it on the beach on a Saturday. If the beach is busy and people can't get in accessible.
Oh, it should be.
We could do it here,
No, I think
whatever.
we should do it.
It should be here on Zoom.
And then people could Zoom
Do
it.
it should be on Zoom.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be handicapped
But
accessible.
we can think about what date to hold one if you're interested in holding one, and announce it at the next meeting. And then
do
as
that.
far as the individual meetings, because you pointed out that they're not open to the public,
It can only be you and one.
Right, it can't be the whole
I know.
select board, because then the whole,
And
But if one.
I've got all the
Then we
association.
could take turns, like
Right.
who's
there
available,
you go, yeah.
because weekends get busy.
And
They
that's,
were very productive last
they
year.
were,
Yeah.
they were.
I think it could help answer questions for them and, yeah.
Hear concerns, everything else, so, yeah.
Okay,
We can think about it.
So we'll place it on for setting some times at the next one.
All right, well, no, the thing is that the first round of the association meetings is this weekend because White Pines has theirs on Memorial Day
Well,
weekend.
I have to just do something else with them. I know I'm not available this.
I'm not suggesting you are, I'm just saying.
But
Yeah,
I have graduation this weekend.
and we could even set up individual meetings with them, with one of you and one of me, and just like do
Yeah.
Pines at another date and talk to their president and say, we'll do one for that. We could do one with the whole select board for all second homeowners.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to outreach.
Yeah, well, the one this weekend, if they want someone there, I'm happy to be there. And that one was, I think, one of the best last year. You were there last year, weren't you? You came down for that one.
Now, the ones I did I came down for one, and then the other ones I did on Zoom.
You came down for the White Pines one.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah. It's the one that was, over by the bowl. Well, they all are, but
I was gonna say, yeah.
yeah. All right.
okay, so we'll put it on for the next agenda to pick a date,
All right.
then decide on the individual
All right.
meetings.
And Mike, I'll get you a list of the association presidents' email addresses so that you can contact them.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Any other comments from the public on that? Outdoor dining, what's that?
I just said, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Outdoor dining.
Outdoor dining on town property.
Yeah, so just wanted to confirm with the board. So as far as the governor is extended through 2020, April of 2024 for both alcohol and outdoor dining and patios and the rest. Plus,
Okay.
we really don't have a regulation as far as use of our property as far as different groups. So, I just wanted to make sure that the board was okay with continuing. We've been continuing with outdoor
Right.
dining since then.
I think it's great.
I do
Drive through
too.
town, see those people out there eating.
I think it's
and
great.
Town being alive.
Yeah.
I'm 100% behind it.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding is both of the ones that use our property don't serve alcohol. So those, that.
Is there no alcohol at Main Street Cafe?
No.
That's my understanding from Teresa, is that neither of them do it. So, and the other ones are all on private property anyway, so that's been extended for a year. We are going to reach out to all of them because any of them who have not gone through their outdoor area, the advice, even though they may make it permanent, they should also consider there is a chance that the legislature might make outdoor patio permanent, but if they don't, they might want to consider at least thinking about applying
So they're permanent.
for a permit to go forward with it and that. So it is something, but the legislature has it in front of them to make that, and that's been very popular across the state, and they want to just continue.
I like it.
Patrick, any comment on that or
No.
any comment from the public on that? Seeing none, I'll make a motion that we keep the outdoor dining.
All right, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's a
We're at
wrap.
the bottom.
I'll make
When's our next meeting?
the next meeting will be, the first.
It would be, that's the early, it's June 8th, because the first is next Thursday, June 8th.
June 8th.
We have a couple of openings for associates on the Conservation Commission, if anyone's interested. And just wanted to mention that.
Do you want to announce Memorial Day?
The parade?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a parade on Memorial Day. Please come. It starts at noon. 12:15 really, but come early to get a good seat.
Yeah. Barrington's, was actually having theirs.
They're not?
No, they canceled it.
Wait, what's that?
Barrington
Cancel
canceled
a
their.
parade?
Barrington did?
Yep, it's in the paper.
Huh?
Wow.
Bad. All the more reason to move to Stockbridge.
So
Anything else?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good.